I want to talk about you starting out, because one of my heroes as a kid was Letterman. When the Tonight Show ended in '92, Letterman came on Australian TV where I was growing up, and we hadn't had late night formats like that before, and I absolutely worshipped him and idolized him. He discovered you doing stand-up here in New York in the 1980s.
Yes.
What was that experience like? What was he like?
Well, it was pretty amazing because I was performing at this club called the Comic Strip, and I heard after the fact, when I got off, that David Letterman had been there, and I was like, oh, you know, I would.
And he had his late night show at this stage, or was he just a big comic?
He was just starting his late night show, and so I didn't even know whether he liked me or not. But what was great was the next day I got a call from the Letterman show asking me to come on, and then after I made my debut, Letterman was such a help to me in saying, literally, Carol, anytime you have a spot ready, come on the show. Like, just call us, and it led to my doing the Letterman show 25 times.
Yeah, dozens of times.
Yeah.
What was it like that first time? Do you remember when you sort of came out? I mean, this is the show after Carson at the time.
Oh, I do.
It's a late night institution.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Was it butterflies? Was it crazy?
Absolutely. I mean, you have one network television debut, and you know you're very aware of that when you walk out on national TV. I think the best thing about it was I was just so excited that I think my natural enthusiasm came across instead of nerves. So that was the best part of it. I mean, I watch it now. It's it's like watching my daughter do stand up. But
what was your shtick? What was the style of your shtick back then?
You know what? Honestly, Josh, I still have a couple of jokes from my first 5 minutes that I did on TV.
Can you try one out?
Absolutely. I mean, because to me, it's still as funny today. It was about how, don't you hate when you go to see groups from the 60s and they're not the originals? You know, like I went to see The Temptations. The guys were white. Okay, so you see, it's as fresh today especially because now they're never the originals. You know? Yeah. So it just goes to show you that a good joke really can last for many years down the road.
You also did Carson at the time, as I mentioned in the intro.
Yeah.
At that time, it's hard for us now to imagine someone with the status that Johnny had back then. I mean, the media has become so sort of splintered, I think, since then. Back then, everyone watched The Tonight Show. There was only one. There wasn't Letterman and Conan and, you know, and Fallon and Leno. There was just one guy.
And more than that, it was like the star maker.
Yeah.
You know, you could be Freddie Prinze and go on The Tonight Show one time, and then like the next day you had a sitcom, you had everything go, you know, you had your act in Vegas booked. So it was really a different time. I mean, everything is so, you know, you could go on any of these late night shows and really nobody, it wasn't the event that it was back then.